Hello deep divers, today we will dive into the Sherri Papini case. I will mention some parts about her natal chart and how it represents this storyline that we all heard about. So, Sherri Papini is a woman who gained national attention after she faked her own kidnapping in 2016. So Sherri claimed to have been abducted while jogging near her home in Redding, California, and she was found 3 weeks later with her hair cut off and a lot of injuries on her body, and this was including a branding on her. It was really dramatic. Sherri then alleged she was held captive by 2 Hispanic women who tortured her. However, we know now in 2020, investigators found out she had been actually staying with her ex-boyfriend during the time of her disappearance. So the injuries and everything, the injuries were self-inflicted and the story was fake. So in 2022, Papini admitted to the fake kidnapping, and this was being a hoax. And she was sentenced 18 months in federal prison. And we know the whole story now about this. And for a time being, we knew her as a victim, that she really wanted to be a victim. That I will explain in the natal chart. You will see how this is a symbolism we can make out the meaning about it. So Sherri Papini made headlines in 2016. Really, it was an old story, but because everything is in the light now, we know about this being fake. We know about the story. We have time to analyze the aftermath. This will make more sense. And for several years, her kidnapping story was widely believed, and the evidence was not even researched because she was believed. So Sherri also had a marriage at the time of her fake kidnapping, and Sherri had been married to Keith Papini since 2009, and they had also 2 children. So throughout this ordeal, Keith supported her publicly, believing in her abduction story, and really he's a supportive partner, you know. And we know, if you have watched the headlines on that time, we know that he was really devastated, he was really sad, and he was very supportive. So, but however, after the truth came out to the light in 2022, Keith filed for divorce and seeking full custody of their children, and he is deeply hurt about Sherri's deception, because also she went and stayed with her ex-boyfriend. How devastating this is to know that your wife staged a kidnapping, really tortured you and the kids, and then emotionally, and then you after find out that she was really staying with her ex-boyfriend, and this is very devastating for sure. So let's see her natal chart right now. You see on the screen, this is her natal chart, and this is the alleged the birth time. I actually made some rectification on the birth time and minutes, and I did it with the time of the kidnapping, the staged kidnapping happened, and I also used her sentencing and the dates that we know, So this is what I could pull for the rectification, but I'm really not sure if this is her real birth time, but it really doesn't really matter because we will not use the birth time anyways. We will use the aspects between Sun, Neptune, Mercury, Uranus, and Pluto, so they don't really change, never change with the birth time and the minutes. Yes, Sun can change sometimes, but in her case, no, there is going to be no change with no birth time difference. So I noted down the things that was very interesting for me and that made this storyline to make more sense astrologically and to be a great example of the symbol reading, because astrology is really it's a symbol reading, it's making a storyline and storytelling. It is what we do. And the importance here with the Sun and Neptune opposition, this is the thing that is the most important for me. And the thing that was catching my eye when I opened the natal chart, it was a Sun and Neptune opposition and the South Node in Capricorn and North Node in Cancer. I was like, yes, this makes a lot of sense now, and it is very important for me. So in Sherri's natal chart, there is a Neptune-Sun opposition between Sagittarius and Gemini. So as you know, Sagittarius and Gemini, these signs relates to communication. These axis is about either releasing information, letting out information with the Gemini, or gatekeeping a secret. That can be immoral too with Sagittarius. So since the Gemini and Sagittarius axis, we know it focuses on communication and knowledge and how we handle information. Neptune and Sun creates this deluding and this foggy opposition in the chart. The Sun represents vitality, who we are. It's really who we are at the core, and Neptune represents illusions and delusions and uncertainties, things that are misleading under the surface that we don't really see that clearly. Neptune is an energy that is hidden. It's misty, foggy, makes it difficult to see or focus, leaving us unaware of what's happening behind the curtain. Think about the metaphor I heard too much about, but I can never just tell it straight how it is. Is the cat dead or alive in the box? We don't know. We don't know if the cat is alive or dead. It's that kind of mystery, but it's a little bit more foggy. Not that we only have two options. We have more options. We don't know what's happening with Neptune. And it's about dreams, illusions, and fantasy world we create in ourselves. So when a person has a Sun-Neptune opposition and the axis of communication, Gemini and Sagittarius, the knowledge between Gemini and Sagittarius and their identity becomes shaped by this illusion, in my opinion. It's in the communicative areas, it can be the person is deluding and telling lies to herself or others. It can be both ways. And this can include the illusions they create about their personality, how they are perceived, and how they release this information to the public, Another also very important aspect of Neptune is that it deals with secrets. Neptune is all about secrets. It's all about hidden in the 12th house in Pisces. So we often come to believe ourselves too. Because think about Pisces is that they are amazing creators, amazing storytellers, and just vastly creative, a great imagination. They are artists and they are mind readers, subconscious readers, and just they're perfect with that. But sometimes we can lose ourselves in the illusion. We can lose ourselves in the version, the reality that we created. Thin line, there is a thin line in between reality, what is real, what's not real, and to be aware. So, these secrets blur the line between reality and fantasy, so much so that there is no longer a clear distinction between what is real, what is not. So with Neptune, the thin line between reality and illusion dissolves with opposition in nature. We don't know where we are going. We cannot decide. Within this duality, we choose sides. We choose Neptune or Sun in this opposition. And when we choose Neptune, we go all the way Neptune. We choose Sun, we go all the way Sun. There is no in between. This is very important to know about oppositions, that we idolize an aspect of the opposition, the side of the opposition, and we just choose to be it for the time being. We choose to be the other part for time being. There is no balance in between, and it can keep us trapped in our fantasy world. So this involves the version of ourselves that we want to be, and often this is a victim with the Neptune. We even start believing the lies we tell because we want to be the victim. We want to be the center of this story. So in Sherri's natal chart, there is a Sun-Neptune opposition, but there is also an additional layer that we should be considering here. We see with the Neptune forms a sextile to her Pluto in Libra, with Neptune at 25 degrees of Sagittarius and Pluto at 24 degrees of Libra. This is a very close, near exact aspect, reveals a deeper insight. So Pluto is in Libra, and this is no shocker, and this is about marriage, partnerships, relationships, and I will talk about it in the next section. So Libra is also about justice, So it is about her marriage with the Neptune, and her marriage lies in the marriage. Pluto is the crisis and distraction that happens there. When Neptune and Pluto are in sextile, while also Neptune also opposition to the Sun, it creates a significant storyline. We see Pluto represents, as I said, the distraction, and particularly the traumatic events that we feel are illusions with the Neptune. And also for her, this is marriage, relationships, and the court happenings in her life, and the lies she continued within the marriage. After staging her own kidnapping, she then continued this in the marriage, and then her husband knew that this was the whole story. Her husband thought that she was really kidnapped, So this is important to know also. And a event in her life, this very turning point event, is the relationship with the Pluto in the Libra. So this aspect really highlights the influence of Pluto in Libra, showing how her marriage, love, and relationships become a major turning point. The staged kidnapping, her involvement with her ex-boyfriend, and the way this illusion ultimately destroyed her marriage. This configuration. So just think about this tapestry. Sun to the Neptune, Neptune to the Pluto, creating bridges. Oh my God, how this heavens tell the story of the thing that we see, in front of our eyes, the storyline that we know it already happened. And we can think about and talk about it this way because it already happened. We are not speculating anymore. And this is how astrology stays relevant, how astrology study is very different from anything, because we know, we have statistics, we have research, we have so many research on the things that already happened, proving or making sense of the symbolisms that we worked through for human history. We have been using astrology for centuries and centuries, and then we have a huge database. This database is all about the statistics. So we know now with the statistics of this event too, with the tapestry, the configuration between the Sun, Neptune, Pluto, how it tells the story. It really feels so powerful. So with the Neptune-Sun opposition, hoax, the dream, the victimhood, the delusion. With the sextile to the Pluto, it's the destruction in the marriage. And also how the marriage helped her. How husband helped her. Because husband was very supportive, With the sextile is first her ex-boyfriend helped her stage this kidnapping. Helping. Sextile is helping. Getting a hand, Let me help you, the sextile. And then the after, how husband supported her. So this is really just an amazing example about it. So, and there is also another aspect in Sherri's natal chart with her south node in Capricorn and north node in Cancer. The south node represents the lower frequency, as I always say there is a lower and higher frequency in a natal chart, And when we look at the natal chart, it's essentially a blueprint. We know this potential life events that we can make sense about. But it's also important to understand a natal chart reflects not just what will happen, but also the potential of certain outcomes depending on how we navigate the natal chart influences. This is partly on us, partly on the fate I will be talking about next. As I often say this is just fully my opinion, maybe not all astrologers believe in it, and I don't think it's the popular opinion, but every chart contains a lower frequency and a higher frequency. This is how I tell to my clients, how I do my sessions, how I tell it to my clients, And duality always exists in a natal chart. It does because we live in a duality reality. So duality exists here. As just it exists in our reality, meaning there are always multiple outcomes. When we talk about our lower frequency outcome, we are referring to a path that could manifest problems or challenges. Choosing the south node in a chart is like opting for lower frequency path, because we know the south node is a lower frequency part of the natal chart that we need to let go, really need to detach from. So, and in this sense, Sherri chose to go towards her south node in Capricorn. How is Capricorn represents reputation, public image, and authority? We know that Capricorn is about this being known, being in the spotlight, and having attention focused on oneself. Sherri gravitated towards his south node. So her south node is in Capricorn, public image, making herself the center of the attention. However, this path didn't reflect her true authentic self. Instead of moving towards her north node in Cancer, which really symbolizes nurturing emotional depth and more authentic version of herself, she chose to focus on her public persona, prioritizing her reputation over her true nature, which is Cancer. Cancer is our true authentic self, the authentic self. So the north node in Cancer, which naturally opposes the south node in her natal chart, represents a high frequency. A better version of her potential we can think of the north node is our guiding star, is just like how we know what is true, what is right for us, and what we should choose in a life on experiencing growth and fulfillment, how we can be happy, really, just our sole purpose. So in Sherri's case, the north node is in Cancer, is urging her to connect with her inner child, to explore the path of family, and to resolve any unresolved issues from her childhood, particularly with her parents and family. I think there is a deep-rooted trauma here. I think that she needed to prioritize her home self and home life, maybe her children, maybe her motherhood. It was the thing that was important that she needed to focus on. So her sacred inner world and the nurturing side of herself. And it emphasizes the importance of focusing on inner nurturing, whether through motherhood, as I said, or maybe the connection with her own mother. And it all starts there. However, in her life, we also know that she had 2 children. So there are also other ways that she would have been focusing on this energy. So the sense of home, the sense of security, sense of attachment to the inner self, it's what important with the North Node in Cancer. The thing is that you are authentically you. When you are authentically you, just it doesn't matter what others think about you. It doesn't matter what you are portraying. And with the North Node Cancer, we always know it. She is being called to embracing more private, inward-focused approach to life, rather than being consumed by the public image, focusing on her connections in the emotions. Emotional depth would be far more important in the grand scheme of her life had she have chosen to align with the North Node in Cancer. And she might have addressed the psychological issues stemming from her childhood. I think there are so many psychological issues here. Of course, there is no denying with an act like this. But I think also there is also issues with the family line, rooted in her family line and childhood. But the answers lied within herself, not in seeking external acceptance or glorification of her public image. In a way, that she chosen to be a victim, to have this kind of fake happiness, and maybe she didn't know it wouldn't be giving her happiness. So there is a clear disconnect in Sherri's life. I watched a 6-hour integration and interview about Sherri's life. The 6 hour, oh my God, it was interesting. I choose to watch it because I really enjoyed that kind of content. It really just gives me this observation. I know her natal chart. I have it in front of me. I observe how she talks. So what is it about? What is the rooted issue there, and how it really resembles her natal chart? How can we resonate with the natal chart there? So many hours of talking about how she wants to be perceived, a victim. If you want to watch, I can link it below. There are so many videos about her integration and also interviews she made. And she had this kind of this victim mentality in it that it never cracked. It was just incredible act. It was an incredible act. So she often talks about wanting to be pursued and presents herself as a fragile victim. And this is the image she wants to project. But instead, focusing on portraying this image, had she focused on her inner self, she might have been able to deal with those deep-rooted issues and live a better life. So the Capricorn Cancer axis of the North and South nodes often highlights a theme of public humiliation following events of crisis. In this case, her public image will no longer serve her, and perhaps in the past versions of herself, this public persona provided her with some level of satisfaction, but now the only thing that will truly serve her is how she feels within, not how others perceive her. The crisis in her life revealed to her that being authentic, her true self, is more important than maintaining the victim persona she portrays with the South Node Capricorn, North Node Cancer. The image, the image might provide her with temporary relief, but it will never bring her true happiness and satisfaction. This is how it is with the North Node and South Node in Cancer Capricorn axis in that way. But on the other hand, when we analyze the natal chart, we look at the Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. Those are the planets often presents circumstances in our lives that shape our storyline. And this is basically just based on my opinion and my research throughout the years. I often see this Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto in the chart as the twist of the universe, the laugh of the gods that yes, we have control, and I think, in my opinion, I truly believe, and this is like a huge statement of mine. And every time in the sessions with my clients, so I always tell them, what you choose, you live, and this is your responsibility. Your life is on your hands, and there is no external magic or source that is affecting your life. No, you choose the things that you are living. This is your own choosing. Not to blame a person, but to remind that we have free will. We have this responsibility over our lives. So. This Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto being generational planet, it really tells me about the story of how we don't have so much control over our life. We also have with the personal planets. The life is all about duality. It's all about duality. How we live in this reality is based on our dual experience. So if we have control, we also don't have control, in my opinion. So the planets often represents the circumstances in our lives that shapes our storyline. Yet they are also aspects of life that seem beyond our control in a way that is a twist. These external forces feel like they happen to us, and as though we are not consciously making them happen. Life unfolds through these planets in a way that feels outside of our direct influence, although ultimately everything in life is in a way our own choosing, as I said. But there is a twist. Life is not that simple. There is a twist. We don't have all the control, and maybe we might think we are making choices, but there is an element we are missing. And when I observe Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus, I always see them as representative of the generation we are born into too, but shaping the storyline of our lives. And this understanding, this symbolism of a natal chart is very crucial, in my opinion. It's a key concept that shouldn't be overlooked. It's always a storytelling. I always tell my clients, I always tell people that I give, some tutoring to, storytelling, symbolism, storyline, storytelling, symbolism. It's all about this. Like in astrology, what is the thing that we are trying to see is not the future. We are not future seers. We are not gods. We are a storyteller. We are storytellers. So, I'm not as Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune points in this chart. So I wanted to ultimately make this video about this, like make this recording about this. So maybe the twist here is that we didn't choose to be born also on the specific time. In particular family, in a certain country, it was not our own choosing. I always give this example. We didn't choose to be born in this year. We didn't choose to be born in that family. We didn't choose to be born in the country, in the culture that we were born into. These are circumstances outside of our control. We were born into this life at that time, in that place, with that conditions. We inherited. So this is a concept often I explain to my clients again, that while there is so much that we can control and take responsibility for, it's not to blame the outside circumstances or saying that we didn't do anything, but there is a balance in life. There is a thin line in life that we often don't see, and maybe it's not our place to see it. So this is like this. I think this is a universal humor. Humor of the universe. It's the twisting of the story. And in Sherri's chart, Uranus is in Sagittarius, Neptune is in Sagittarius, and Pluto is in Libra. Libra is about commitment we make to others as a person in partnership, in marriage, in relationship. That is also fair for both parties. So, it's fair commitment. And Sagittarius is astrological symbolism, all about ethical, moral things. What is ethical, what is moral, and the both sides, Libra and Sagittarius, they are both related to what is fair, what is justice, and what is ethical. But also, as I explained, the Neptune and Pluto already has a sextile in her natal chart, so there is a link between. And as in Sagittarius is ethics, morality, as I said, justice, what is right, what is the right thing to do as a human being. What is your dignity? What is the right thing to do? As principles of fairness and equality. And this sextile acts like a bridge in between to the planets, as I said. Neptune-Pluto sextile highlights how ethical and moral issues, particularly tied to her marriage and relationships, became her central of the story. Uranus is also in Sagittarius in her chart, and Uranus represents the generational twist also. And it's about, again, morality, justice, legal matters, and also race and racism. Then I will talk about it next. And Uranus plays a huge role in this part of her life as well. And this is also to note, Uranus is in retrograde too. And it's at the first degree of Sagittarius, forming an opposition to her Mercury, which is also in retrograde in 6 degrees on Gemini. Mercury represents communication, the information we share, and in Sherri's case, it ties directly to the things she said during integrations and interviews, the fabricated story of her kidnapping. She even described the supposed kidnappers in vivid details. Guys, we see in the photos of the illustrations of the supposed the kidnappers. We know how they look like. I cannot, get rid of the image of this in my head. I don't know about you, but I have that image in my head always. These two women, providing those vivid descriptions about their appearance, their language they spoke, the music they listened to, personal traits. One is short, one is muscular, and this elaborate, fabricated story was shocking, just like Uranus, shocking. Sagittarius also relates to the race and racial issues. So the Hispanic women that she claimed that to be kidnapped, so it was like a racial thing, and she racially profiled these fake kidnappers as Hispanic women, which means this shocking thing is also in Sagittarius. And we know now with this story she has a racist background. I will not go so much into it, but we know it. It's on the internet. Allegedly she had it, because she, I saw it on the internet. I don't know for to be fact, but she has a racism in her background, and with the Sagittarius and Mercury position in the Gemini, it is like a racism in that symbolic meaning too. It relates to race because she was very open to the whole fake kidnapping being, related to Hispanic woman. And then she also just let this out very quick, very casual. And we also know she had written allegedly some racist content online. I will not go into it. So with the twist of Uranus being a Sagittarius, with the trial of her lifetime and the alleged racial issues that she faced, and the legal issues stemming from unethical, immoral actions. How Sagittarius plays a role in the Neptune and the Uranus here. It's the very important thing here. And this twist of the fate that we cannot control. And knowing what we know now, we can make much more sense of these aspects. I don't mean if you have it in your natal chart, you are a racist, you will have legal issues. No, it's just, a reading of her natal chart. It's just a research. So, also with the Mercury being in retrograde and the Uranus being in retrograde suggests, I think, there is an issue persisted over time because retrograde is the past. I think she had faced similar problems in the past and had acted in similar ways before. The racism, alleged racism, and the faking of stories, and then she had those things before. She have done them before. And had she followed her North Node in Cancer and done some inner work, rather than just chasing the public image and the fake persona and fake stories there with the Capricorn, maybe she may have turned out better in this potential. And Mercury represents her communication style too, and with the Gemini, she is an original speaker with the Uranus aspect, an amazing communicator, innovative thinker, and but with this opposition, the question is, where is she heading? With the opposition aspect of opposition, there are two sides. Which side we idolize becomes important. In her case, idolizing Mercury in Gemini gives her this just great storytelling, strong communication. But with Uranus and Sagittarius, maybe she is creating sensational, unaccepted, unethical, immoral, concerning things there. So, to sum it up, in this natal chart, I see how the story lines up. Do you see? This is another very important example how the natal chart is not the personality reading, as I always say, as a symbolic representation of one's entire life. Neptune in her chart being in Sagittarius and opposing her Gemini Sun represent what she is, what she is creating, what she is known for. And the opposition to the Neptune, the lies, deceit, manipulation, and the fantasy world she was lost in. So the victimhood, it also reflects the victimhood she wanted to see herself in. Neptune, the ruler of Pisces and the 12th house, is the ultimate symbol of victimhood, It's what we weep about, cry about, what we lose, disappointments. It's all about just this dark place. It represents the shadow of the past, depression, struggles with addictions, psychological issues. It had been having another storyline too there. It also where our mind plays tricks on us, where the subconscious is vast, but we can deceive ourselves, making ourselves lost in illusions. With this Neptune-Sun opposition, she had a deceitful self-image, both towards herself and others, always wanting to portray herself as a victim. This kind of opposition can manifest differently on everyone's natal chart, but for her, there are so many aspects that, it's just because we know the story, we can make sense of it. And no, we understand the storyline. Knowing what we know now, we can make sense of this opposition between Neptune and the Sun, which really sums up the whole event for me. It's important to remember that this opposition could have played out differently. I think if she had been a writer, author, storyteller, or an artist, she could have channeled her creativity and fantasy world into something productive rather than turning to deceit. This fantasy-driven energy can be used positively in life. I think we have control over some aspects, but we lack control over others. But this is just a great tapestry and duality of life. Life is good like this. And there is also the story of Sherri, how her duality played out, how her tapestry of the cosmic blueprint played out. So I hope this was a good example, and I was really meaning to do this case, and I was just so lost in the natal chart. not knowing where to highlight, and I just had a problem making it short, I think. But I really strongly believe the Sun Neptune opposition with the sextile and Pluto and Uranus Mercury opposition at the south and the north nodes. It's just a great thing to focus on the story here. So thank you, deep divers, and keep doing the work.